So I'm so happy to be reunited with my friend. We have been with Satch since the beginning, and he has been with WDHA. I love my Satch, wall of CDs that will never come down. You had like a million CDs in the wall.
Oh,
And,
great.
it's like the two Italians. I feel the need to feed you when you come out. And so do the WDHA Jersey listeners. You always leave with some kind of food.
Cannolis and yeah, it's
Yeah.
always wonderful.
Yeah, we love you. We just love and adore you. And I told you off Zoom, you were the first person I ever figured out how to do a freaking Zoom meeting with. I didn't know during COVID. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And Shapeshifting had come out and you were doing promo for it, and we figured out a way to get it done. So
Yeah,
that was 5 years ago. Crazy.
that's crazy. I know. And I apologize. I'm in this small echoey room because there's construction going on in my house and I'm trying to
Don't
avoid.
need to apologize. We love you. You don't need to apologize. Now, so much is going on always with you.
Yeah.
The G3 reunion live is out. How exciting is this? And I remember my first G3 show. It was the first year. I was working at DHA. I was there in 96. I believe it was Beacon. It was probably Beacon Theater, I think.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
was lucky enough. I was like a spoiled little girl. Someone had me side stage. I was side stage with a date, I remember, who's long gone. Um,
Well,
but I just
ah,
remember being so mesmerized. We were playing Eric Johnson and Steve Vai and you, and it was just such an amazing experience. So before we get into this whole experience for your fans, could you ever have conceived, because you were the crafter of that whole idea, that 30 years later, you'd still be doing it? 14 years of different tours later, it would still be happening?
I tell you, it was crazy when we did it the first year because Steve and I have known each other since we were kids. And so that was
I didn't know that.
oh, yeah. I met Steve when he was 12 years old. He
Wow.
came to my house for guitar lessons. He was a beginner. And I had just been playing about a year, maybe a year and a half, but I'd been doing shows like at the high school gym and people's backyard parties, things like that. So my name was getting around town. So this is Carr Place, Westbury, Long Island. And so he comes to the door. It turns out I'm teaching one of his classmates, and we start this relationship. I knew in a couple of weeks he was going to be a superstar, just a fantastic set of hands, fantastic musical mind. He had the passion that's never let up. And so we grew up together. We spent hours like sitting in my backyard, literally back to back, not talking, just playing and just pushing each other to
The
try to
noodle, you guys were just noodling.
yes, so we did. We noodled.
Just the noodle. Oh, so
So
brilliant.
we've always been connected. So like I said, that first G3 tour was crazy just that it happened. And then of course to still be here. I mean, we're so grateful that we're still alive. We're still healthy. We still love playing guitar. The fingers are working. And we still act like kids when we get together. We
It's
just
better than
play.
ever. It's You guys look the same. When I look at the videos that you guys have out now of the three of you, and then I look back then, it's really not that much different for me. And on stage, there's such that connection. There's
Yeah.
such that amazing, amazing vibe. I think it's even better than it was
Yes.
30 years ago.
Yeah, I think so too, because with the sort of experience that we've had playing around the world and with so many other people, I think everybody comes with a more a sense of sureness about themselves. And so a lot of the anxiety that was surrounding the original G3 has dissipated because now it's an accepted format. So that
And there's
really,
a greater appreciation for everything that you
yeah.
realized you loved and got into things for as you age, as you get older. And I think you have more fun and you can feel it. So you're putting this whole thing together. So there's so many elements to this because there's the sets between all three of you,
Yeah.
you, Steve, and Eric. And then there's the encore jams, and there's all kinds of great companion pieces that go along with it. So let's talk about the G3 Reunion Live. I'm going to let you explain it because it's not a live collection, it's an experience for your fans.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it started in the most unlikely way. My son comes to me about two plus years ago and he says, I have an idea. I want to make a documentary about the beginning of G3 and me turning 4 and getting on the road for the first time. So the backstory is when he turned 4 years old, my wife and I decided he's going to come with us everywhere from now on. That week was the beginning of G3. So his
Wow.
first tour, living on a tour bus, traveling around the world, was the G3 tour.
Now,
And
that's your son Zizi, by the way, who I was going to
yeah,
actually ask you about towards the end. He's a filmmaker, so it's not
yeah,
necessarily like he's just, for those that may not know, he's got a great resume and a phenomenal, pedigree with you. So he's not only part of your life journey, but he's part of this part of your professional journey.
yes, yeah. We
Yeah.
worked a lot together, and he's made a lot of videos for me. He did the film Beyond the Supernova with me, and this it's interesting how the film grew because it started out as this simple idea, and then started to grow. He wound up interviewing around the world about 50 different guitar players, all about what the guitar meant to them. And then he was the one who said, you, Steve, and Eric should get together and do one more show. And then as we're talking about it, he said, now you should do a tour. So I thought, well, there's no time for that now because everyone books a year and a half in advance. But I called Eric and Steve, and there was this window of opportunity, a few weeks, about 6 months down the road, where they might be able to pull it off. And so we made it happen. Wayne Forte, our agent at Entourage Talent, was able to put together just enough shows so that we would be able to create that magic and be in a location in several different venues where Zizi could film it as well. So he came out with his crew and he joined us. The total bonus for it was that he decided we need to play together finally because I played with for his high school. We did like national anthem at his sports games, or I even played with him at his kindergarten class. So we played a lot together, but never in a
Wow.
professional setting. And he's a really good guitarist. So I said, well, let's pick a song. And he said, well, I want to do Summer Song. So we wound up doing that at the last song of our set. ZZ came out, never done it before. Amazing experience just to see him pull it all together for the audience in Los Angeles and just like wing it. It was really remarkable, and we got it all on film, so it'll be the part of the documentary where his life with G3 and with me come full circle.
That is so cool. Like you're the crafter of the sound and he's the crafter now of the visual. And that's
Yeah.
that's amazing. So who goes through everything and puts everything together for this collection? Who's the crafter of the G3 reunion live? Is that you? That's got to be you.
It takes a team,
Was everybody? Okay.
it takes a team because everybody, in a sense, you look at it this way, Steve, Eric, and myself, we take, uh, our responsibility as band leaders to make sure that that part of it is done well, and we deliver it to, in this case, Mike Fraser, engineer producer, who's in charge of recording everything. And then we have to have a package. We need an art director, and that's Todd Galapo at Meat and Potatoes, who's done so much fantastic work for me.
The
And he
book is
puts the
incredible that goes along with this. It's like
yeah,
almost 70 pages and it's such an amazing companion piece
isn't it
and part of
beautiful?
the it's stunning and it's part of this whole experience. Like I couldn't imagine giving, more to the fans because there's the different color vinyls for each one of you and there's a whole digital thing and I'm trying to think of like all the different components that go here and it's like a must have for
Yeah,
people who love guitar and people who are just starting to play guitar and you get lost in it. It reminds me of when I was a kid buying records and things and you just kind of get lost in looking at everything that goes along with the experience of loving that music.
yeah. I'm glad you said that because that what I noticed early on in my career is you have to invite talent, really superior talent into your projects if you want to elevate your own art. And that was part of the why I started G3. I said, I know like everyone says, don't stand next to that guy. He might play better than you. And I thought, no, I want to stand next to that guy. He might make me play better. That was the
Yeah.
way I looked at it. So when we go to do a project like this, you call the great Mike Fraser, you call Todd Galoppo, and you say, "Can you do it?" And the book, Jen Rosenstein, her talents with the camera, they're unmatched. I mean, it's an art form in itself to be able to hang with us, to be the fly on the wall, and to capture the right moments, the emotional moments, the technical moments, and to give the fans the feel of what really happened at that show, the culmination of the G3 reunion. So yeah, it's and then of course Ear Music, they bankroll the whole thing, which is
Yeah, of
very
course. Yeah,
important.
you always need a backer. You always need a backer, and the fun moments, because whenever I watch you, whether you're out doing G3 or you're in Chickenfoot or you're whatever you're doing, you're doing your solo stuff. You're always having a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
you never get Satriani's just not living every note show. That just does not exist. That's why you're the Satch. I mean, but you can see that, and you can see it in the video pieces too that you guys release. I mean, and the bands are just smoking, and everybody just gets their epic moment, which
Yeah.
which you three deserve. And did you think all of these tours later? Because you look at how many tours, I think it was like 14 or something over the years with all these amazing guitar players, Kenny Wayne and Uli John Roth and Ingve, and like just over
Yeah.
the years, it's been just a magnificent experience for the fans.
It is. It's really great. And if I'm just thinking selfishly about it, I've been able to stand next to those players and players like Robert Fripp and John Petrucci.
Yes, yes.
And you learn so much about music and about yourself and about guitar playing. And by taking the chance and taking the challenge that, yeah, I'm going to stand next to this person and I hope it goes well.
Yeah, and they're
And,
standing next to you, of course. So
and
that's happening for them as well. Well, let's talk about the guitar
yeah,
because
sure.
amazing things are happening with the guitar. So
Hmm.
since COVID, I remember I just kept reading these interesting statistics about guitar sales going up,
Uh,
up, up. Other sales for everything else was going down with technology, but there was like this crazy increase from 2018, I think, to now of people going out and buying guitars. Now, everybody had extra time during COVID, so people thought, well, I'm going to get a guitar and I'm going to do the noodling and I'm going to feel great. And fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, and I saw it, with a lot of
yeah.
our listeners. What is it about the guitar that whether we suck at playing or whether we're a decent player, we have a love affair with? I have guitars in my house. I don't play. I've tried. I suck. It'll never happen. I've accepted that. But I want them here. What
Mm.
is it about the guitar that we love so much?
Well, I'm still fascinated by the fact that you touch it, it vibrates in your hand, and you feel it in your fingertips. And you when you're holding onto the guitar, whether it's an acoustic or an electric, it vibrates against your body. This vibration is a connection to the music, I think, that's really personal. When you think about it, a piano, it just kind of sits in one place. You don't hug it, you don't embrace it, you just put your fingers on it. But you don't touch the strings. But stringed instruments are unique because it only makes a sound if you touch it. You really do stimulate this thing, and in turn, it stimulates you. And I think that's what's so fascinating. It helps you to express yourself in a way that other instruments maybe don't in the same way, in the same physical way. And it's intellectual, it's visceral, it's spiritual, it's emotional. I think it's got all the components to stimulate us that way. So it can be very personal, or it can help you be an extrovert if that's what you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so many women now are being embraced for playing the guitar,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I think is awesome. Whether it's Lizzie Hale, who's a Gibson ambassador, or Orianthe, or Nita Strauss, or Samantha Fish, who's so great, in the blues realm. Back in the day, look, I've had Lita on many times, and she's told me back in the day, so many guys told her, take your guitar and get out of here. We don't want you here.
yeah,
I think she said it was Eddie Van Halen who said, no, you can play. So keep playing. You
yeah.
know, women were not always wanted in that realm, and now we're being so accepted. And I think it's brilliant. So, are you excited about the amount of females that are not only picking up the guitar, but also getting these accolades for being really solid players?
Yeah, they should. I mean, you have to remember, I was teaching guitar when I was a teenager, and half of my students were young girls I went to school with.
Were they really? I didn't
Yeah,
realize that. I mean, you've taught some of the brightest rock stars, that have come out and that are the most well-respected players, but I didn't realize you had that many gals playing with you.
yeah. And
Wow.
when I was teaching at the little guitar store in Berkeley, California, when Kirk Hammett and Alex Skolnick were taking lessons, and
Yep, from
there
you.
were, there were a lot of female guitar players. I always thought they had the good sense not to get into the music industry.
Because we were smarter. Yeah, right, right, right. No, everybody always wanted to, and the sucky thing is there's just only so many places for the ladies sometimes.
Yeah.
And but that's changing. That is
Yeah, it is
definitely,
it is
definitely
changing,
changing. Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
great. I mean, if you happen to listen to, let's say, Alyssa Day, I mean,
yeah.
she can tread any guy out there. So
There's
there's
so
no
many.
difference in aptitude and availability of, technical prowess. It really is just about whether they want to do it or not, and
Yeah,
whether they like the music. The opportunity is so important. I mean, I don't think it's any different for any other art form or business form. If society, either local or on a bigger scale nationally, if society doesn't provide an opportunity for someone to grow into that niche, that business, that art form, then it sits dormant. And I think with the digital age, music production has become democratized, so everybody can pretty much make a decent musical product at home with their laptop or their iPad or something like that. And this has been a good thing for people who maybe because of their sex or their appearance have been cut out of the music scene, because they don't fit, they don't have a TV look or they don't have the right sound for a particular radio station. That's all broken down. The artists and the fans connect to each other without the need for the music industry infrastructure. This has been great for music. And if you go to Instagram, you just see the most amazing guitar players from age, 8 to 18. They're just playing better than guitar players have ever played before in the history of the world. So this is a great thing. This is
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, yeah. And I think they feel that sense of being a little bit more relaxed
Yeah.
and knowing that that pressure isn't on, like the pressure that you had, coming out with solo records in the 80s as an amazing guitar player who's just out in front going, okay, it's just me, here I am. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's take this. You were an inventor of that. Oh, and by the way, too, you and Steve have the Satch Vai band.
Yes,
So I
I
want
know.
to make sure that we talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, we are
So cool.
recording every single day.
You're recording every single day with this great
Yeah,
band.
yeah.
You know,
So
uh,
we've
Kenny's
had
in
to
it
do it.
and Marco Mendoza, who's such a fun guy.
Yeah. So Steve and I have been doing most of it remotely. We had great plans. Once he finished Beat, I finished working with Sam. We said we're going to get together in LA, and then LA caught fire.
Yeah.
So we went back to working remotely. We've got about maybe half the record finished. But I'm heading down to Los Angeles next week, and we'll spend some time working in the studio together. This album is crazy sounding, and it's
Ooh.
just guitar playing all over the place. And Steve and I have never written music together, so this is really fresh and different for us. It's very exciting. And we've got a bunch of different players on it from both of our bands, as well as other musicians in LA that we always love playing with. So, yeah, we hope to have another single out by the middle of March, I think. I think
Nice.
that's,
Just around the corner.
yes,
Just
yeah.
around the corner. What a great time for you. This is like a really awesome time for you. You got a lot of great things going on and creatively you're just
I
on
know.
fire. I mean,
I,
I'm
I'm
excited.
excited. We got the residency coming up too, with the Sammy Hagar and Mike Anthony. That'll be
That's
great.
right.
It's
You
gonna be
got that
fun.
also happening. Wowza. There's just so much going on. So much going on for our friend Satch. And you know what? You're such a deserving guy of all of this because not
Thank
only
you.
are you one of the most insanely talented people on the planet, But you're also one of the nicest guys in music, so it's always so nice to be able to catch up with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks
Yay.
for having me on the show again.
Oh, please. And you got to come by because we'll get some nice Italian food and we'll get the whole, cannoli
Ah,
thing going. And I want to let everybody know you got to get the G3 Reunion Live. It's an incredible collection. It's a must have. It's the best gift ever to give anyone who's a music lover, especially if they're a huge fan of guitar and you just get lost in it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful collection of music
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
and history and musical history too.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you.